Okay, founder mode.
So there was a blog post that was published over the weekend by Paul Graham. Paul Graham is the very famous founder of Y Combinator, which is an elite startup incubator. Sam Altman famously worked at Y Combinator for many years. It's like cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop. Airbnb, Coinbase, DoorDash, Brex, Dropbox, Stripe, Webflow, Zapier.
Okay, so Paul Graham drops this essay over the weekend. Not a long essay, it's a short essay. I recommend you read it to just have a sense of the zeitgeist. The essay's called Founder Mode, and Twitter was abuzz over it for many reasons. It goes on to talk about how there's conventional wisdom that startup founders receive when their business starts to scale. They're a founder, they got something and it's working and they're starting to hire and to scale the business.
Yeah.
And the conventional wisdom, your management consultants, your Bains and your McKinseys would say, what you do in that moment is that you hire really good people and delegate essentially and give them room to run, and you let them do their thing, and you as the founder give them the space to do that. And Paul argues that is not the thing to do, and that there's something called founder mode.
Imagine we got up the mountain and then somebody was dropped from a helicopter, having never walked up the mountain, and you tell them, okay, now you lead this group up the next mountain. Can you imagine how hard it'd be for that person to drop from the sky? Or maybe they joined a third of the way up the mountain, but they weren't there at the very beginning. You see, a founder brings three things that a professional manager doesn't have. The first thing a founder has is they're the biological parent. So you can love something, but when you're the biological parent of something, like it came from you, it is you. There's a deep passion in love. The second thing a founder has is they have the permission, right? Like I can't tell another child what to do, but if they were my child, I probably could. I have the permission. And so you have a permission. I could rebrand the company, and a professional manager would probably come and say, I can't do that. But I know how we named it. I know how we branded it. So you know what you can change. And the third thing that a founder brings is you built it, so you know how to rebuild it. You know the freezing temperature of a company. You know at what temperature it melts. You know like what this looked like before it was tooled, where it came from, the alloys, where they were sourced from. You're not just managing it, you're building it. And the problem is professional managers typically don't have any of those three, at least not in the abundance of founders.
Which
It's just like so memeable. Like
it really works as a meme.
you had told me one time that you had a call with an investor and they asked you how you planned to break through and win on the mimetic battleground of Twitter. And you called me, you were like so pissed. You were like, this is such a stupid question. And like, I hate it. And I'm honestly like, calling something founder mode is how you win the mimetic battleground.
He's won on the mimetic battleground for sure.
It seems intentional to me.
I think it is.
I'm giving him a lot of credit for that, but I feel like he probably deserves the credit based on who he is.
Let's give this man some more credit.
He needs it. He needs to hear it from me for sure.
Anyway, it goes on to talk about how that's not actually the thing that you should do, and that founders should actually be across everything that's important to their business, which honestly, like that isn't really revolutionary advice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, founders should pay attention to what's important in their business. There's all these examples that he pointed to where when you do hire people outside of the company, that it's led to these disastrous results because those people basically are good at managing up to founders and are ineffective at their job. Yeah. So there's a lot of feelings and takes and thoughts that flow from this post, but that's essentially it. Is there anything else you feel like is?
No, I feel like that's basically it. And it's got meme to hell, as you can imagine. And the main sort of take that I've seen is essentially we've rebranded micromanaging to founder mode. Which is funny. Like, when are you telling yourself like founder mode, which is funny.
Some of the takes in addition to that was like part of why there was a certain type of founder that like really celebrated this blog post. And it's because they're looking for license to behave a certain way, or they're looking for
an excuse to behave badly. I saw one from Rayhan who was so funny. Some of you guys need to worry less about founder mode and might want to consider found her mode, which is really dumb, but
that's really dumb.
Really good.
Really dumb. Really good. I think there's an easy take, which is like micromanaging people is bad and ineffective. And I think what this brings up for me more than anything is our take as like Boys Club is we're not scaling this business in that same way. So It's like we don't have a lot of firsthand experience to draw on. But I will say the sort of small amount of experience that I do have with this type of thing is I do think that before you hire for something, as a founder, you should feel it entirely yourself. I do think it's important to understand exactly what the shape of the work is, and not just like what the scope of the work is, but all the areas of the business it touches and what it feels like to do that work before you hire for it. And I think that makes you more effective at hiring for that role and more effective in managing that person because you have more empathy for what their day-to-day work looks like, and you can better support them in moments where there's like some challenge. So that's really tangential to this idea of founder mode, but I do think that that's something like just as a management idea is something I think about a lot.
Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, I was really struck by when I was reading it. I was like, wow, we're really not a venture-backed business. Like this is so much about you've got $12 million in the bank and you're trying to scale something that is product market fit.
And you have to hire 150 people in the next 3 months.
Exactly. And I felt a real sense of relief that that's not the work that I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, founder mode.
That is that.